Hello. Welcome to the second episode of Kuya Talks. Today I'm with my sister Victoria. And today we have a fun podcast for us today.
Yes, we do.
So, what was the...
We're going to just get right into it?
Yeah, where do we start? Because clearly I didn't have this planned crazily. So, what is to give a good example for the audience, like what is something that, like, a good memory that you always can cherish, or just that resembles our relationship as brother and sister?
One good memory?
Yeah,
just pulling out?
There's plenty, but I know.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Well, one of my first memories were like, it was when mom and dad told us when we were like little, how I'd like used to steal your little hot toy cars.
Yeah.
And I was probably only, I don't know, one or two, and I would just like put them in my mouth or like just steal them from you. And what I thought was endearing was like how you wouldn't get mad at me for doing that. And even in the home videos when we show them on the TV, it was just kind of like a caring nature that I was like, wow, this is my brother, that he did, like in the videos when I watch you would let me have all the toys that I wanted, even though I was like being a brat. And that was like one of my first realizations, like, whoa, like he's not just like a mean older brother, it's like he actually cares about me.
No, that's actually one thing that I kind of hold, I guess, to our like relationship. Growing up, I think the best part that you and I were like the bestest of friends. Literally everywhere we went, because I think that our biggest memories were every time it was summer break. And we were with our Lolo and Lola, and they had a house in La Mirada, house in San Diego, and we had neighborhood friends, we had friends at the community pool. And so like with all of our kind of, I guess our memories, I like to say, because we all had adventures and we did we made our own fun during that time. And even at home, back at home here, just with our own neighbors, like we always tried our best. But it was like we're just the bestest of buddies. Like,
I know.
Yeah, like anything we did, like we had to involve each other. My favorite memory is my Lolo had a timeshare in in San Diego, and I think the funniest thing was so it was a really cool so the timeshare, there was a really cool like small water park with a pool, and I remember we would always bring our water guns there, but it was like an adventure, like it was an all out, to be honest, it was kind of a war, kind of, because it was cool. They had to explain the water part, there was this big slide. Not a really big slide, but it was, for us being so small, it was like a ship, and the front of the ship was kind of go down like as a slide. There's a bunch of water. Around the ship there were these station water guns that you were shooting onto. And so I remember too that when we were getting chased, or we were chasing other kids with water guns, Victoria always had my back.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and
anybody shooting a water gun at Marquez, I went behind that water gun and I shot at the other water guns. It was just like, we had this camaraderie, like, I don't know. And it's just because we were just so close ever since we were little. It could be just because of the age, how close we are in age.
Yeah, that's true.
Was it 16 months?
We're 16 months apart.
Months, yeah.
And I think, there was a lot of good memories with that. I think growing up too, like our parents made it very important to us that we had to take care of each other. And sometimes, like, I think one of the best things that even in high school that we had, I think middle school was where we were the most separated. I think just because it was very dynamic.
Middle school,
year.
You're kind of like discovering yourself. Like you have no clue where you stand in terms of society. You don't know if you're that popular kid, or you don't know what being weird is. And so I don't think we even know who we ourselves were.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. I think it was Yeah, so in high school, I think it was really, we didn't plan it, but we did tennis together.
Well, I always try to like follow in your footsteps. So when you joined tennis, and then when I got into high school, that was kind of like, oh, like, I'll know someone at least. So that's why I like followed you.
Yeah, no, that was, I think, and that was a nice part. We shared the same friends, even up till now, and so it was, even with us going to different colleges. Yeah. There's still some friend groups and people we share, but even to this day, I just think that, there's a lot of things we can talk about right now.
There's so many.
Yeah, because, what else?
Oh, I got a question.
What?
What's one pet peeve that annoys you that I do?
About you?
I could take it.
Oh, wow. Are we just going to go back forth?
Yeah. To the good and the bad.
Well, as of recently, I mean, I don't keep pet peeves, or there's not a distinct thing. Yeah. But as of recently, please cover your mouth when you cough.
I know, because Corona, quarantine.
Yeah.
But dude, I'm fine. Like,
I know, you're just coughing because like,
I have it. You've gotten it already if I'm in the same house.
Okay, but it doesn't hurt just to cough into your elbow.
I guess.
Yeah, that's it.
I guess.
Okay,
yeah,
what's
you're
a
right,
pet peeve of me?
Oh shoot.
You're gonna pull out a whole list?
You like to not spoil a movie, but get super close to spoiling it.
Oh my gosh!
And you always go, "Oh, I can't wait till you see it," because there's this one scene. Oh, I can't. And like you get super close to it, where it's just like you should have just stopped talking.
To this day, when they were watching Game of Thrones or any other movie,
my boyfriend and
I've never spoiled any movie or show.
But you get this close.
I get close.
Like,
but I will never spoil. So, wow.
Yeah.
That just took a turn.
On another one, you talk a lot.
I talk a lot?
Your stories.
Oh my god.
Sometimes when you call
Stop the podcast.
Sometimes when you call me, like when I'm in La Mirada, because I don't live at home when I go to college, so I live with my grandparents. But sometimes when you call me and you like start telling me a story, I like leave the phone on my desk.
Are you serious?
And I go like do the laundry, or like I get my stuff ready to go take a shower or stuff, and you're still talking.
So are you even listening to me?
I know enough that when I come back to the phone, you're still on the same story. So then I just jump in and be like, oh wow.
I'm just gonna start talking smack then. You're not listening.
This is called like confession.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow, this is how to build a strong relationship with your siblings. Yeah. Oh my gosh.
So that's one.
Did you just want to come on here and just like say that about me?
I mean, when else would I be given this opportunity?
Oh my gosh.
But that's two of your...
Wow. At least it's only two.
Hey, but that's not that bad.
That's not that bad. It's not like
where it bugs me or it's not getting on my nerves, so... Yeah.
Yeah, I think too it was a lot of fun that growing up we had the same interests, or we bonded like either playing board games, playing video games. And we played a lot of action figures too growing up. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
It was probably on the smaller end, but we still
I was more the bad guy.
Yeah, Victoria always played the bad guy. I was the good guy.
Yeah.
One funny memory, I guess, that we had. What should we talk? Should we talk about the
Green Goblin? Are you talking about the
Okay, go ahead. Go that. I'll say what my story was after.
It's like a short story.
Okay, go.
It's just I was playing with Green Goblin. You were SpiderMan.
Oh wait, there were walkie-talkies.
There are walkie-talkie ones.
So they can only move like
their
up
arms
and down,
and their legs and all that.
Yeah, I don't think the legs moved. I think it was just the arms
and the head, right?
Yeah. The head, yeah.
Okay.
The head and the arms.
Well, how old was I? Was like, I don't know, 5, and you were like 7 maybe? We were just pretty young.
No, I think we were younger than
that. Like 3 and 4?
Because I think that movie came out in like 2006.
Really?
2005. I think so. I actually don't know.
I'll say I'm 4.
Yeah, we were really young because like Yeah.
We weren't allowed to say bad words. And this is like, okay, so that's what the point of the story is. But I had Green Goblin, and you like were like, stop Green Goblin or something, and I was just like, shut up, SpiderMan. And my mom just got pissed at the fact that I said shut up, and I remember that, and I felt so bad. And honestly, that's probably why I don't curse up to this day, like, because I didn't know how bad shut up was. So yeah, that's one of my first memories where I got in trouble playing with you and I didn't know. But that's what I heard in the movies and all that. Yeah. So I just like replicated it.
Yeah, no, that was my gosh.
Short story.
Growing up too, I would get blamed for almost everything, even if it was 100%.
Yeah.
I'm going to talk about that. When I talk about pet peeves, I'm going to talk about where I get blamed.
Well, that's not even against me. It's just you.
So there's the time my sister had a phone in her room, and we always believed like it was disconnected.
I know what you're gonna say.
And so we were just having fun and like. So I dared her. So in a way, it was kind of my fault, but I just dared. I was like, I dare you to call 911. So I remember she called 911. And then I remember her telling me, like, oh, there was a dial tone.
Yeah, we thought this was a broken phone.
Yeah.
So
we thought maybe it was just a fake sound.
We didn't think that it would actually go through. And
it wasn't until the operator called back.
Yeah.
And then we were upstairs, and my mom picked it up downstairs, and she yells, Marquez! She just yells my name. And I was like, Victoria called. And she's like, oh, okay. Yeah. And then I remember, I was like, okay, I'll tell my dad when he gets home.
Yeah.
I remember as soon as my dad gets home, I say, Dad, you know what? Victoria called 911 today. And my dad said, oh, that's cute. He didn't care. And I thought that was going to be like, she was going to get the smackdown with that.
It's weird. And I see it, too. It's just, it boggles me because sometimes I'm like, Mom, that was me or that was my fault. And she goes, doesn't matter. Or if we're in church... Yeah. And we're both like talking to each other, and she'll be like, "You need to be quiet." She'll only tell you, which is so interesting to me. Even if I'm like telling you a joke, and you're just like nodding, Mom will just like hit you.
No, yeah, at church, like Victoria could tell me like whisper about a whole freaking story to me in church. I'll just maybe
I'm
laugh.
Like laughing too.
Yeah, and she's laughing, and then I just like maybe I'll just whisper like, "That's a good joke."
Yeah.
And then I'll just get smacked. I don't know why. It's like it's
and
just...
even if I'm in the middle and Mom is like, I'm in the middle and my mom's on my left and Marcus is on my right, she'll cross over me to hit you to tell you to like stop.
Yeah, no, that was...
It's so funny.
I didn't like it. It was always her, but it's
she
like
goes out of her way.
Yeah, but I think too, up until this point, like even with us, it's kind of crazy how. Even with us going to separate schools and that we only got to see each other over breaks or when we go to, since my sister stays with my Lolo and Lola, every time I go to visit them, I see my sister. Even with the distance, I still feel like we've gotten a lot closer still.
Yeah.
And it doesn't really change the way we've grown. And I think one of the things that really made me happy was... before this whole quarantine and like staying home, our dad was talking with us, telling me that he's like, hey, you know, when your sister comes over, it really shows like how much you really miss each other, and you're super excited to see each other.
Yeah, and
it's true, because I think growing up, I think one big thing I say what kept our relationship strong is that we didn't let arguments sit.
Yeah.
One of my favorite things that I found is in locked away, I have a treasure box with like a bunch of different memories, notes. I have a note in there that we had an argument apparently, and my sister wrote me a sorry note. Like, I'm sorry, you know, I did whatever. And then you said, like, please forgive me or something. And so, like, you know, I think that was important, too, that we didn't like the tension. We didn't like it. It was just very off to us that we were against each other. And I think a big thing, too, is growing up, we shared a lot of stuff with each other.
Well, probably just because we were taught. That was, like, what was ingrained into us, too.
Yeah, and it was, I think, yeah. So that to me was a strong memory, I guess.
Yeah.
How about you? How about
like how we've grown close and all that?
Yeah, like what do you feel like? Really?
I think the fact that we shared a bunk bed, so that means we'd wake up and go to bed like it was like a never-ending sleepover, basically. Like it was just like having fun with my best friend, and even in the summers, it was like the best because like we could do whatever we wanted. Yeah. Like when the sun came up, sun came down, and I think that's probably a factor that grew us close because we just slept in the same like quarters. So it wasn't until like we started, I don't know, was it middle school?
I think middle school chopped off the bunk bed.
Yeah, the bunk bed's chopped. So in my room, I have my part of the bunk bed, and then in his room, he has the top part of the bunk bed. Yeah. So they're like separated, but I think that contributed a lot to like how close we became too. Yeah. And just all the games that we played too, and the fact that we didn't really have a lot of technology when we were younger. Yeah. We literally were just like, what else do we do other than like talk to each other all day? Yeah. Like, yeah. Yeah, we had
before we let's just kind of go through some stuff.
Oh jeez.
The first besides we had a PlayStation 2 after that. First
I had a
Leafster.
There
I was about to go into that.
There you go.
Man, that thing was memorable. I think the fun part is that we shared it.
Yeah.
And we were competitive, like getting a high score. There was a game with like some rabbit. And carrots.
Oh, if you know the game or something, just comment. Like
it was educational.
It's an educational game where you're jumping on a lily pad, getting the carrots, and you're counting. Whatever.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It was competitive.
Yeah.
It was competitive. I think this kind of goes to like a memory I cherished with you. I think is when we both got to experience one of our best Christmases was with the Wii. The string. The string. Yeah. So during that Christmas year, I wanted a telescope. My sister wanted a Wii.
Which is why did you want a telescope? You were never into stars.
That's kind of, I don't know. That was
you just wanted the most expensive thing.
I think during that time there was something in the news about like some event with like the moon or whatever.
And you wanted it just for that
just
one
to
day.
See it. But the thing is, when that happened or whatever, I think I didn't wake up or I was still asleep. Wow. So kind of pointless. And I even don't know where it is.
Yeah, I don't know where it is either. I think we gave it away.
Wait. No one asked me.
You never used it.
I know. Probably for a kid that actually is going to use it.
Yeah, becomes an astrologist. Or...
Yeah. But anyway, so the best part is when we wake up, it was tradition that on the top of our stairs, my parents would record us down.
This is for Christmas.
From the bottom. So my parents were on the bottom floor, we were on the top, and we had to sing Christmas carols to be able to start. And this is where my parents went full out, and it was really awesome because they had a bunch of strings leading to different objects. But the house was super cool because the entire downstairs was a bunch of strings all over the place.
They really did that intricately.
There was they had a letter from Santa, and you had to read it out loud for the camera, and then you had to follow the string. So for me, since it was a telescope and it's hard to find things around that, they just gave me candy or some other stuff. And I think too, what was kind of funny about Victoria's is that on her line, it was a bunch of accessories for the Wii. Yeah. And then the thing that they did was the string ended. And
it just ended at the remote controls, because all we did after opening up gifts in the morning of Christmas was we put on the TV, and then my dad would go into the kitchen and make us breakfast. So the strings just ended, and all I had were Wii remotes and some games, but no console. Yeah. Yeah. And that was and I remember how bummed out my dad and mom, mostly my dad, played it off like, oh, sorry guys, I guess Santa couldn't get you those things. And he's like, hey, why don't we go turn on the TV and watch some tunes? And so we were just okay, we were never really we weren't really too bratty, I guess. No,
it wasn't we just said, okay.
We thought it was dumb though why we had a remote, but we couldn't use the Wii remote.
Yeah. Yeah,
Like, it was
that
like-
was tough.
I was just confused.
But then when you went to go grab the remote,
Yeah.
hidden was our two gifts, which was
Because there was like another string like attached to the remote, but it was like hidden.
yeah.
So then we followed that string and then found the Wii consoles and then your telescope.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that was
in the fireplace.
Yeah, and I think too, I guess that's another thing with like gifts, that I don't know, I felt like the best thing our parents did for us is that we always, not that they would have to get gifts of like equal value,
Yeah.
they just had, good things that one child wasn't favored over the other.
Yeah.
And that, but I think too what was important, it wasn't just gifts, it was just that, hey, let's, one thing that my dad always did was take Victoria and I to like different parks around Orange County and even sometimes LA County, and I thought that was really fun because not only was it exploring new places, it was also just it just always felt like an adventure. It always felt like you and I were like trying to accomplish different things, or not accomplish,
like discover the world.
Discover
with Dad.
Yeah.
And we also went geocaching.
Yeah.
Fed ducks at the lake.
Yeah.
With koi food, I think. Yeah.
Yeah. No, that was it. And oh my gosh, don't we get started on like when we had memories like at Chuck E. Cheese.
Oh, Chuck E. Cheese was lit. Like,
yeah, it was like we had to distribute the coins, and some days like we were very strategic as kids because we were like, are we gonna try to get like a high prize item, or are we just gonna have fun?
Yeah.
And
that was
yeah.
fun.
And then the all-you-can-eat salad.
Oh, so good. And the
but
it
just didn't make you feel good because you'd eat a ton of salad and soda, and then you'd go into
a bunch
like
of those egg bites, hard-boiled egg bites are in it, and bacon bits. Oh yeah,
right now.
Not right now.
Ugh. No.
Yeah, that's not.
But
good.
yeah, I think 2 is really. What do you think? Like, what do you? How should I ask this? What is one thing that, as a brother, I should say, that you think that make me different
than a lot of what,
like maybe your other friends? Like, what is something unique that only I guess, or just something about me again?
There's a lot about you that is just like so different than the friends that I go see, and their brothers are just like not connected to their lives at all. Like, they'll just come through the door, go straight to their room, and like sit down. But like, both you and I are just like so excited whenever we see each other. And it's like, oh my gosh, it has been forever since we got to hang out. And what about you is like, you're so genuine, caring, and you truly like you show me that you're my big brother in a lot of ways. You've taken care of me. And it's like it's built up. I can't just say like you do this one thing and that makes you different. Like everything that you've shown me since I was a baby, like growing up, is shown me like that you like truly like love me and like you support me, and you really look out for me. Like when I was little and I was like shy to go up to the person and ask them to redeem my coins at Chuck E. Cheese, like I was just shy. You would be like, come on, I'll go with you, and you'd really just like hold my hand through all of that. And especially you were there if mom and dad were like if they fought or anything, you and I would like stick that together and just you'd support me when you got in your first car accident, and you did not, even though it hit on your side, you did not even care about like your own. Your first question was like, are you okay? And I was perfectly fine. Like, I was on the opposite side of it. I was more like, what just happened? But your first was like, are you fine? And you were just like mostly freaked out about me, which I was like, wow, like that hit on your side. You didn't even look at yourself and be like, was I hurt? Is my arm okay? Nothing.
I didn't even remember. Like, I didn't even think about that.
It's stuff like that I noticed over time.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're just you're so caring towards me, and like, I appreciate. I truly like. I look up to you. You're like my role model.
Wow, Victoria. Thank you. I think to sum it up, I feel the same way about my sister. One important thing is just I've always appreciated how honest and I don't like saying the word blunt, but you just never sugarcoated anything. You just, if something looks dumb or if I do something dumb.
I'm the only one that could say it though without you. Because if mom and dad said it, it would be kind of like you get more mad. But if I say something, you get it because it's from me.
Yeah, and I think a lot of times too that even if it's something that's a harder pill to swallow and it's just something that I just need to be more, that I just have to accept some things. Even though I could maybe be upset with my sister's opinion, I still come back later and say, you're right.
Yeah.
And, I never let my pride... I think that's a big thing in our relationships.
Yeah.
I just never let our pride get in the way of just, it does temporarily, I think, for everybody, but, we put our differences. But the best thing that I... There's a lot of things. I think the biggest one is just, in our family, we're always so surprised how hard of a worker my sister is.
Oh my.
And I know she's gonna say it's just what she does, but really just it's surprising to my mom, my sister, me, Lolo. We all look at it and say yeah, we all work hard, but no one's as hardworking as Victoria. And I know you may look back and say you're doing with work, school, and all the other stuff, but to be honest, but I also feel like it's, so I look up to you because I was never at that level. You have a different level, so I am inspired because when I feel tired, when I feel lazy, I was just hey, I gotta keep going.
What is Victoria doing?
Yeah, she's still working and I'm just lying down, but yeah, I think too it's I guess it was always just knowing that there's something that your sibling could give back.
Yeah.
That that there's we counterbalance each other, and we keep it open, we keep it honest, we don't let any arguments or just bad things get us down.
Yeah.
And it has a lot to do how we were raised, but I think it's just a blessing that our personalities just align that way.
Yeah.
And
I don't know, we just vibe. Literally, you're my best friend. Honestly, every time someone asks me, oh, you have a brother? How old is he and stuff? I literally lead with, oh, yeah, he's my best friend. That's my first thought. That's the best friend. Yeah. Jeez,
because I always get, and I get really, I get very emotional, thinking about how thankful I am.
Yeah.
To even because I always hear sad stories sometimes with siblings that don't get along. Even with their parents, and that's another thing too, is that it was important, not as Victoria and I get older, to also be honest with our parents about our lives and our stuff, and I think at the root of it was that, and it was just giving up each other's pride, learning to get along, and I don't know, I feel just life's too short to just dwell on the negativity.
Yeah,
that's what I always felt because it and a lot of people think we're twins.
Yeah.
We've
got in the comment before that we were a couple. That was once though, which is
wasn't too bad.
That's not too bad. That's rare.
I think it was more. That's rare.
But twins, we get a lot.
It's mostly twins.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I think, and I think it's great too that we also, when we have game nights, movie nights, we kind of intermingle our friends.
Yeah.
And it's kind of cool so that we kind of find friends in each other's own groups. And, I think, I don't know, I just feel like everything we do just kind of I don't know, I feel like there's some things that we still, every day we're learning from each other.
Yeah.
And I think we're I can apply that to my life. And we can, because there's sometimes you might just, and it's small things too, you might tell me something in the middle of the week, oh, I was dealing with this, but I handled it this way.
Yeah.
And then it might not be the same exact situation, but then it just applies to a problem I'm dealing with later. And I'll be oh, since Victoria handled like that, I'm going to try it that way.
Yeah.
You know, or it just, even if it's not an exact thing of how to handle it, maybe it's just like, try this perspective.
Yeah.
Think about, open up. And I just think too, like, Victoria was the one I went to all throughout, even up till now. Like, I'll ask her for like feedback of like if anything like relationship or just friends, because I always felt like it's someone that's gonna not only be honest but just give a different point of view, especially like the girl's perspective.
Yeah.
And then sometimes Victoria will come and say like, "Hey, what's my perspective on?" And I just think growing up we did a lot of giving.
Yeah.
Don't you think? Like we did. But how should like I don't know. I've been talking.
Yeah. No, it's good. It's good.
Pet peeve.
He just keep going on the story. Yeah.
He just zoned out.
I wasn't here.
What is something I guess you would like to share? Like
just in general.
Just in general, like because I was going around just talking about overall between us both, but like maybe something from your point of view that you feel. I guess like to the audience, like what is something that you think is an essential to maintain a strong bond with your siblings? I mean, I know I covered a lot, but
so essential in like maintaining. I would say that if you guys have either an older or younger sibling, I've only had the perspective of being the younger sibling, so that's who I'm going to speak to. But as a younger sibling, just if you have an insightful like older sibling who like has pretty much like their life kind of together and everything, try to take advantage of like asking them what are some tips in going through life. Like they'll probably be the most honest person you'll get advice from, because they won't be sugarcoating, they won't care about what they say in response to your question, because they probably, hopefully, they want the best for you too, and they want you to grow up with all the benefits that they had growing up. But try to take advantage of like just gaining the advice and knowledge of your older sibling, because they have so much to share, and if they're even a whole like 5 or 10 year gap, they have even more wisdom, being in those shoes like ahead of time. So just ask them for advice and just keep up that communication. Don't stop just because life gets busy. God put that sibling in your life. There's a purpose for that. And yes, there are broken sibling relationships that can't be repaired. And yes, that's sad. So then you'll find probably a good friend that will also be that brother or sister to you. But just cherish truly your family, because those people hopefully brought you up with a good light and a good heart. So just use their guidance to the best of your ability while you can. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. That was good.
Yeah, so I try to like take all the advice that I can from you.
Yeah, and it's to add more onto it is to say it just it's a responsibility, and I think too, I think it's important. Don't sit on your role.
Yeah.
Just because I'm the older brother doesn't mean like you're gonna make mistakes. You're going to, and so you can only feel like I need to lead by example, but also don't feel like I guess entitled to it. Don't feel like you can't make no mistakes, or that be open that you can learn something from your other sibling. And that they're we can only like we're all going through so many different stuff, and it's just you have to. Oh my gosh, I just lost my train of thought. I'll be honest, but just I guess because I've always just looked up to my sister about just finding like where I'm going sometimes, or just if and I think too we always hype each other up.
Oh yeah.
Even when I started this podcast, and I would just I just kept talking about how excited I was about it, and that's another thing. Is like you always have to be there and support. Like even with as busy as our lives are, we still take the time to talk. We still take the time to kind of just hype each other up and just
go out to eat if you're nearby the area. Yeah,
and that thing too is just I just feel like I just so thankful, like I got to grow up with a sister, and just to be able to experience the things we did, and I want to get too emotional.
We can go on for hours about this. It's
but we'll do closing thoughts.
Okay.
Closing thoughts about this. That I think the best thing that we will continue to do, because we talked about a lot of reflecting on the past, but as we move forward, even with my sister and I growing up, kind of officially moving out where we're not with family, have our own places, I think it's always cemented in my head that our parents telling us that, hey, if when we're gone, you're just gonna have your sister, and you got to take care of each other and be there for each other, and even with there's gonna be things where we're gonna have disagreements, we're gonna have our downfalls, but I think at the end of the day we're going to just not linger on it.
Realize what's important.
And so how about you? What would be your closing thoughts?
You pretty much summed it, that you have each other to rely on. You're so close to my age that you understand what's going on, like among my age group, and just being honest and true with each other, because if you grew up together, then you know all like the little flaws and how they think and how they should process things, that your sibling can probably give the most relatable answer, like they know you better than you know yourself, because they've watched you, and you've known me since the day I was born, so I mean you really have watched me grown up, closer than mom and dad have, but you've known a lot more of my feelings and thoughts on stuff and how I've processed things much more than probably mom and dad know. So it's just keeping up that communication no matter how far you're away from your sibling. That'll hopefully like bring about a good, fruitful friendship. Relationship with your sibling. That's
important. So thank you everyone for listening in on our second episode of Kuya Talks with Victoria Delfin.
Thank you.
And we hope to see you guys really soon. So see you guys.
Bye.